Hello, Waswere here, back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at a loot from 10 streaks at hard mode Arch-Glacor. On Wednesday, they hotfixed the game and buffed the hard mode loot, especially on streaks. There will be minor spoilers for bossmen, but this is just a loot showcase and not my journey, so it won't take away from that, though if you want no spoilers, here is your warning. Streaking is a unique concept that only exists here and at Telos. Essentially, you pick your starting enrage, and with every successful kill, you can either claim your loot or risk it on the next kill. If you decide to continue and streak the boss, the enrage will go up by a random number of 5 to 20, and over a long period, you can expect about 12 enrage gain per kill. What makes streaking so good is that the commons are multiplied the longer your streak is. So by the time you have 80 or 85 kills in your streak, you're getting 10 or even 15 mil in average loot for a kill. On top of that, as your streak length and kill enrage goes up, the drop rate for the rare items also go up. Additionally, you save 5% of your loot for every kill in your streak, capping out at 75% saved in 15 kill streaks or higher. So if I had 4 uncut onyxes on a 20 kill streak and died, I'd only get to keep 3 of them. This rounds down, so if that onyx example was 5, it goes to 3.75, which then rounds down to 3 onyxes. That means any unique that you only have 1 of is always lost on death, so streaking those are very, very risky. Immediately thought that the meta would be to start streaking from 0 and then claim your drop whenever you got a Dark Nihilus, Frozen Core of Leng, or if you happen to die and you have to claim your streak and get the 75% of commons. I set out to get 10 streaks done so that we could see the kind of GP you can make from it. These do vary in length quite a bit, as I got a lot better at the boss over these 10 streaks, and if I got a Nihilus early, I said screw it and claimed it and just restarted, as it was only a small time loss. Starting off, we have our first streak, 29 kills into it. Just an editor's note here, the interface is always off by 1 when you have the option to continue, so keep that in mind. As our method was to claim on every Nihilus and core drop, we went ahead and claimed. I valued these Nihiluses at 20 mil each, as that is the value of them if you were to make T85 main hand and offhand weapons right now. So 140 mil from Nihiluses. On top of that, we have the commons, which are valued at 62 mil in the chest, but unfortunately a lot of these items have crashed with the amount of supply coming into the game, so their current value is only 36.5 mil. This makes our total streak value 176 mil in about 1.5 hours of work. The second streak unfortunately did not end as well, as we didn't get any Nihiluses or core and died on the 59th kill. Though now I get to show off how good commons can be even on a failed streak. I estimated that this took me just over 3 hours at 3.2 hours, and the GE value shows 132.6 mil in the chest, but with the current prices that gets dropped down to 81 mil. It's a common theme that is about 60% of the GE price. And with all that taken into consideration, it was still 25 mil per hour for this relatively short streak. Supply cost is probably in the 10 mil per hour range or higher, so we're still looking at making some profit here on a failed streak. For the third streak, it's a little bit of deja vu, as we died on the 59th kill again. Slightly less loot this time with 127 mil, but the way the items are lined up, especially the medium orichalcum salvage, the actual value is much lower at only 64 mil. I know it's crazy, but things have crashed that hard. Again, this one took 3.2 hours, making the total drops 20 mil per hour for this streak, one of our lowest GP per hours. On streak number 4, we picked up 6 more Nihilus, which, as mentioned earlier, I've attributed a value of 20 mil each to, so 120 mil from that, plus 25.2 mil in commons, carried mostly by the 295 Onyx Dust and the 350 Hydrix Bolt Tips. That and the medium orichalcum salvage are the drops you really want to look out for commons-wise. Took less than an hour to do this streak and net 145 mil in combined loot. Streak number 5 is around the time where I started to get better at the high range kills and felt comfortable in the 700 plus range without signing every other kill. It kinda just clicked. Unfortunately, I surged on top of a beam by accident and died, which is a pretty common way for me to die, and died on my 65th kill of the streak. The total commons after the GE reduction is only 100 mil, which is crazy because the chest says it's worth 161 mil. This I mostly blame on the Spirit Weed Seeds, as they went from 20k to 1k in a matter of days. The GP per hour was 26 mil per hour on this streak, which seems to be about what I get after the death penalty of losing 25% and the lower GP value of all the items in the drop table. Streak number 6 was my first big boy streak, going all the way to 1,003%. Kind of got in my own head with it, and I panicked when I didn't need to. But alas, we have a large amount of commons, including 19 mil in pure cash, and 1,133 onyx dust, which is more than 11 onyxes worth, leading to a total value of just under 200 mil with 199. This took about 7 hours of work, which netted me 28 mil per hour. Next up are two very rapid fire streaks of 14 kills and 5 kills. I got a Nihilist drop super early on both of them, and as I had spent less than an hour on the two of them, I just decided to claim the Nihilists early. 6 of them worth 120 mil, and then another 12 mil in commons made for some quick GP. When you get lucky like this, Arch-Glacor can be one of the best money makers in the game. Streak 9 returns to a long kill streak, except for this time we died on our 81st kill. The total loot with current prices is 131 mil, which for its length is actually kind of bad. Just didn't get lucky on the good commons and kept getting the untradeable remnants. And these remnants give you nothing at this point, as unless you're super lucky on cores and nihilists, you won't be waiting on remnants to craft things. You'll just have way too many. As this took over 6 hours to get the 80 kills, the total GP per hour was 21 mil, which is about the same as our 58 kill streak. Shows how much a couple lucky common drops can change your GP per hour. And last but certainly not least, we have streak number 10. This one got us 17 nihilists, which is just insane. I personally didn't make any weapons as I'm saving them for the collection log. I could have easily made 3 T85 weapons, which would have turned a profit of over 300 mil. We also had a Leng artifact, which I valued at 15 mil, as that's the difference between the T85 and T90 gloves on average. We also got 250 mil in commons from this streak, which is about in line with what you would expect, as it's similar to the other streaks. I just didn't have to pay the 25% death penalty this time. The GP per hour on this streak was 98 mil, and just shows how high the potential can be at this boss. So there it is, loot from 10 streaks at hard mode Glacor. The total loot was 1.62 bill, and it took me about 32 hours to complete all these streaks, giving me a total GP per hour of 50 mil per hour. That obviously doesn't include any supply cost, which is likely around the 10 mil per hour mark, but I wasn't fully keeping track of that. So I've profited about 40 mil per hour, and this is without getting a frozen core of Leng, which is worth over 2 bill at this point. So even if you don't get a core, you can profit very well at this boss if you're able to streak long. What have you done with Arch-Glacor? How are your streaks? What drops have you gotten? Leave a comment down below with your answers. I really want to find out. But past that, have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.